back to the Local, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody that like, comment, and subscribe to our previous podcast. It is amazing. Today we have Henry Swarey with us again. He is back for our monthly podcast. So, with no further ado, welcome Henry. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, it's a pleasure.
So excited to have you here today.
Yeah,
today we'll
glad to be here.
We're gonna do the podcast. Me and Henry are gonna be monthly, and we're gonna do them on we'll pick a topic, if you will. Today's topic is roofing business, and that's something Henry is an expert at with Panda Roofing, one of the best roofing companies in Ohio.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I guess one of the things I was curious, we could just start right away, is like why would somebody start a roofing business? Why?
A roofing business?
Yeah, why would you start a business per se?
Just any business.
Or you? Why did you start your business?
Why did I start my business?
Yes.
So, a couple things, I guess. If I go back from the very beginning, I grew up as a farmer boy until I was 18. Then I was allowed to work out on the construction crew, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
And then after a couple years after that, I got married. And within 2 years, I was on my own, starting my own business.
Okay.
But I always had in my head that someday I'm going to be on my own. But really, what I guess for most people was for me too, it was more of not getting along with the boss.
Okay.
So we're always at each other and just couldn't agree, arguing. I mean, that don't work, right? But that was in the back of my mind. If this don't work, I'm going to go on my own.
Right. So then you obviously just build off of that with your experience on the roofing crew. I assume it was roofing you did.
No, it was general construction. So we built cabins, pole barns.
Not bad.
Built a house.
What made you decide to do roofing?
So when I went on my own, I started kind of like that. I started with what I knew, and I even built my house within the first 5 years of my roofing. I built my own house myself. I did some of the work out, but I could have done everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had that skill, I guess. I learned quickly in construction. It was easy for me. It just came. After I did it a couple times, even sheetrock. Like, I hate that.
Do you know how to do sheetrock?
Yeah.
What? I don't know how to do sheetrock.
Don't do sheetrock.
Okay, that's why.
Don't learn the stuff so you can't do it. Right?
Absolutely. But from you learning, and then what made you narrow it down to roofing only? Right.
So that's where I was going. So, well, we had inspections for garages.
Okay.
So I was building garages. I was doing the concrete, and I was like getting frustrated because I was like, here I am in the night, 9 o'clock at night. The concrete isn't dry. I can't go home.
So you can't go home until the concrete's dry.
Well, I had to finish it, and if I would left it till morning, I couldn't finish it no more. It was a fall day, and it was just rainy, and I doesn't want to drive very fast upstate New York, damp and all that, right? And so we were just troweling it, and finally I was by myself that one time, I remember. And I was like, man, no more concrete.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. But right at the same time, the inspectors were such a pain. And they'd come in after I built something. They look up and they go, not good enough. Code, hardly meets code. So I was learning the codes and then hardly satisfying them. Or it seemed like they could always change something on you. So then I was like, well, that's going to hurt my profits because this is what I figured. At least going to make me change something. So I put it in my contract. This is how I'm building the garage. And then I got more details. If code makes me change this, then you're going to have to pay the extras.
Okay, because I remember looking at your contracts previously. They're way more detailed than any other contracts I've ever seen.
Yeah, and now, so it's just over the years of experience, I just add a little bit of this, a little bit of that to protect myself and also the homeowner, so they can read it too. So
you want the homeowner to know, like, if it's in writing, there's no debating it.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like if me and you write out something that we talked about, it protects me and it protects you.
Exactly.
And the more details that are on that piece of paper, the more we're protected.
Right. Exactly right. And so, well, with that, I enjoyed the roofing part for some reason. And then I did start doing some roofs outside of what I was doing. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. here I am up on the roof. No inspectors up here. Most of the places did not have inspections. Some places they did, but you could choose not to work there in that city or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so that's how I grew my roofing, and I'm like, oh, that's easy money for me. I thought it was easy money.
Yeah, well,
it just became easy.
Coming from all like general construction to just roofing, it seems like it would be relatively easy. You know what I mean? Like was that what made the choice for you? Was it easier, or you mainly enjoyed it? Like, how did you make that discretion? Because it's easier, or because you enjoyed it?
Probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Because you could go out with 2 guys, 3 guys, and you could get on the roof and you could just hit it. But if you were doing concrete, 3 guys, you're almost not enough of guys, right?
True.
And so with the roofing, then I was like doing a third of the work, if not half.
Yeah.
And we worked really fast, and I'm like, man, I can make lots of money, more than I could in garages. So I just wanted to do more of it. And then I thought, if I focus on the one thing and get good at the one skill set, I think this is the key. Get good with the one skill that you have.
And make that be profitable.
And then that'll be your profits.
Absolutely. That's interesting. Because for me, like, I'm similar to you. I know most general construction. I can do most. I don't know. I wasn't quite sure which way to choose, but it looks like you look at the pros and the cons, you weigh them, stack them against each other. You liked it better, and it was a little bit easier to do, so that's why you choose roofing. I like that. But like when it comes to, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, like for example, payroll or taxes, or what can I write off and what can't I write off. There's so much other stuff. How do I find the work? Like speak into that a little bit for me, because
like an entrepreneur starting up or something.
Yeah, like let's say tomorrow morning I start a roofing crew. Like I know how to do the work, obviously, because I'm starting to do it. There's other stuff that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, or even payroll is big.
Yeah.
How do you take control of that?
Yeah, so we started a new company out here in Ohio in 2018. Like when we moved out here in 2017, I said, I won't be doing roofing again. Sold my business upstate New York. Mm-hmm. So I moved to Ohio, and I said, well, I won't even be able to, because I have no idea who to go to. There's no contacts. I don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. Like I just had so many different things that weren't going for me. But 2018, I go, I'm just going to try. I know how to do repairs, and so it's easy for me to get into that market. And hey, I've had a shirt marked up and a hat, and got a van, work van, and wrapped it. That's what it's keeping. So you gotta be good at marketing.
The marketing part.
And that's one thing I've always, I think, been fair at. I mean, I'm not the best, but so you gotta know a little bit about marketing. So you gotta get leads. You gotta get people to call you.
And do you do that? Like, what is the best way to do that through? Because like I've seen people do it in many different forms.
Well, I don't think there's just one good way.
Okay.
I haven't found it that way, at least. Seems like you just have to be across all different platforms of marketing. So you got Facebook, you have Google, you have website leads. Have a good website is one. But also reviews is huge nowadays, because people make decisions quickly. But more than anything, I believe you need to answer the phone when people call.
Yes.
So many people have press 1, press 2. I mean, hello, leave a message.
Yes.
I'll get back to you. No, you won't, because I'm not interested in getting back to you. Mm-hmm. Wow, we have a chat widget too on our website now. People love chatting. They just love that they can text.
So, like, how many different features does your website have? Because I've thought of messing with it to see if I can get a price. Can I get a price on a roof, set up an appointment through your website?
Sure you can. Well, you don't get to text me or the whoever's taking the calls.
Right, but like it'll like if I go on Panda Roofing, it's pandaroofing.com, right?
Right.
So if I go on pandaroofing.com and hit the chat button, like can I schedule an appointment through that?
Well, so we don't do that. I mean, you could, but I don't allow them to do it.
Okay.
Because too many people are just looking to get an estimate that way, and they're not serious.
I see.
So I'm gonna weed out some people that don't want to talk. So I have a policy. I tell my people that they cannot set an appointment without talking to the people.
That's fair.
I mean, why would I want to go there and just get my ladder up, get the ladder out, and sometimes they're an hour away, hour and a half.
Yes.
We try to bundle them up, but it's an hour of my time to just give somebody an idea that I could do with a phone to Google.
Yes.
Something.
Well, then, so you have a team that answers the phones, and then you have a sales team. So it will make it easier for the team answering the phone, but the sales team is not going to be happy. I see what you're saying. Is if I set an appointment via chat and I'm not actually interested, the salesman is not going to be happy with the person answering the phone.
Exactly. They want to blame it on the thing. Blame it on somebody. Everybody wants a good lead. Everybody wants a hot lead. Well, I had to think of one guy was saying that you should treat all leads as a hot lead or an active lead or interested. Well, there are some people that are just looking, they say, but they're still in the market. Why are they looking? Right? They may not be ready right now. So.
And that's where you would figure out their pain point for the most part, right?
Well, so what we do is we have that conversation, and I want to know, are they interested now, or how soon do they want it done? And if they're just looking, they'll say, hey, I've been looking to get a grant on my house, and I need to get 3 bids.
Yeah.
So.
What do you do in that instance for?
So I give them a price over the phone. I'd ask them if it's a single-story home, 2-story home, garage, and give them kind of like a ballpark idea.
Okay, and then that way a salesman doesn't go out. I like that.
No, they're not even interested for an estimate. They don't care. They just want a price. Yeah.
And it will be, if it's a grant, obviously they're going to go with the lowest estimate.
Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah. So you
$13,000 and
with somebody like that, you can't find a pain point. There's no way that as a salesman that you're going to sell them a roof if they're waiting on a grant.
They don't have money either. They're probably in a trashy neighborhood. So
yes.
They're probably in a neighborhood with not much potential.
Do you do any storm chasing, stuff like that?
So I don't really do storm chasing. I do more like I go out and do some door knocking.
Okay.
We do some of that, but also we have marketing, pretty good in those areas. So we now do postcards. We follow up with a postcard. So that's one thing that we do. When people go online, they go roofer near me or whatever, I'm right there. So I got pretty good rankings, and so people they'll find me right there on Google pretty good. And so they'll look at my reviews and they say, I like that guy.
I see. Okay, and that's all because of your marketing.
We got billboards. I spent a lot of money this year on billboards.
How many billboards do you have? Because I've seen, I don't know how many. I know I've seen them.
Yeah, that's so we got like 4.
Okay.
And then they 4 are one spot for 30 days, and they flip flop to another area.
That's why I see
them.
So
that seems like it's 8. They're all over the place. They picked out my areas, and I just move them around like this for 6 months.
And through the billboards, are you getting leads in, or what is the purpose of it?
I didn't have a phone number on my billboard.
Okay, so what is the purpose of the billboard?
It's just marketing, so when people see it,
they recognize it.
Yeah, it's just recognition, branding and recognition. So they'll go by, they'll see it, and they go, Panda roof. I think I've seen that before, right? They'll see my truck. So I think I've seen the Panda somewhere else. It's just like, it's like, they go on Google and they see Panda roof, they go, I've seen him around, I'm not sure where. It's crazy. It's on radio or on TV.
I've heard your radio ads a few times.
So it just keeps dripping in different places.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Do you have any is it better to have in-house crews or sub everything out? As a start of a business?
For
roofing.
You mean to install the roofs, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. Sub crews, you don't have as much overhead with the sub crew. But if you have a truck, you can buy a trailer pretty cheap. Tools, I know they're a few thousand. You can actually get started for pretty cheap if you got a vehicle. If you got a truck anyway, pickup truck like most guys do.
And you could even do a pull behind trailer probably to get started. And would you start as a one-man crew, or would you hire people immediately to install if you had your own crew?
Well, since I'm started, I probably would do it a little bit different now.
Okay.
If I was to start it back up again, just because of what I know now. So I would probably stay and subbing it out for right now. Yet I'm looking to hire an in-house crew. I'm looking to hire more people. because you got more flow control, more quality control with your own team. Yeah, with the markets changing, some of the contractors right now are looking for more work. And so when that happens, then they become more available, and then their prices go down because people want to work for cheaper.
And that allows.
So that's going to start a little bickering among one another, and then I get a better price. But I'm not looking to get a better price. I'm looking to find a good crew, a good sub crew, or I do that. They take care of me, I take care of them, and we take care of the homeowners. So it's been working out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're a big roofing business in Ohio, and you guys started 7 years ago? You started with one van. Was it 7 years?
Was it 5 years ago? Maybe?
Probably 5.
2018. 2018 was my first year.
5 years. You're right. Oh, because I remember when you bought that van. You know, you were all excited about it. I couldn't figure out why you would put the pan on the side. Then you were explaining to me people need to see it. So, you know, I've seen that. It's just comparing, like looking at what you've done in the business and thinking of trying to do it yourself looks a little bit harder.
Yes, yeah. So it's always harder. It's always overwhelming for the new guy that wants to start up, and he's a solopreneur. He wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to maybe a solopreneur working for someone else, and he wants to start up his own team, and he has like no idea like how to get a team together. Well, one thing is, if you don't get along with your peers at work, it won't be easy when you hire someone.
Yes.
One of the first things you have fallouts, and it's very hard to get started if you've never done it. I mean, it's very hard. It's more difficult than you think.
And it isn't like from what I've heard people tell me, it isn't like you just become rich overnight.
No, right.
And so that's something that like probably confuses a lot of people too. You know, how long do you think it takes a business to turn a consistent profit?
It doesn't take very long at all. I mean, it just, again, like now I am where I am and you are where you are. If you were to do your business over again, what you're doing, it'd be much easier the second time.
Oh, so you think if I were to restart a business, it would be easier than it was the first time?
Way easier.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I went from 0 to 3 million in 4 years. I was going to do it in 3 years. It wasn't that high.
Okay.
And so, you know, from nothing. Started from nothing. I started just doing on my own. And now I look back and I go, I could have done that in 2 years or 3 years probably had I known what I know now.
Right.
Because I've learned so much more. Every time you do a startup, you learn so much more.
Is that why the theory fail until you succeed? Is that the same philosophy as that?
Yeah, you feel your way forward, as John Maxwell says.
Okay, because it becomes easier every single time because you learn something. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it. And like payroll. How do you do payroll?
So we outsource it.
Okay.
So I think people need to chill on that one. I mean, don't try to do it yourself. You can pay someone to do your payroll for 4 or 5 people, probably less than $100, probably $40, $50 a week or something.
Okay.
So don't even deal with it.
No.
But you can do it yourself. And payroll on Intuit or QuickBooks is pretty easy. You can set it up. It's just that all those taxes need to be done, and if you're not an analytical guy, then the software is going to be big time overwhelming.
I see.
And I think one of the biggest things that people fail is they try to do everything so technical.
Okay.
So there's 2 sides.
Right.
Some people start with they're very analytical, and everything has to be just right, and then every I has to be dotted, every T has to be crossed.
I see.
And they sit there and they figure out all their things they have to do to get going. And they sit there and they set up programs, and they're doing the journal entries and doing all of this payroll stuff and pricing, and the price book is just, impeccable, just awesome. But then they don't have no business.
Oh yeah, because they spent 20 hours last week doing all of that stuff.
I look at a business doing in 4 blocks.
Okay.
Marketing.
Right.
You got to get your leads in. And sales, you have to sell. Then there's service. You've got to be able to service the client. Right. People comes in under that. And then there's the finance side. Okay. So people need finance. You got to have money. Your cash flow is king. You got to have cash flow. If you don't have cash flow, you're dead. Right. So we can't survive without cash flow. You've got to have cash flow.
Yes.
And then also the overhead, in the finance side, is that too high? Do I get new equipment? Do I have a huge amount of debt? So I can hardly make my payment. My line of credit is always full because I'm spending ahead of my jobs completed. See what happens, people get down payments. That's the thing that happens. And then they deposit into their operating account when they should put it into a separate account to hold the money until the job is done.
Because if that job goes wrong, you might need to, worst case scenario, you might have to spend money before the next check comes in.
Or that, and then let's say they cancel the job, and where are you gonna get the money from?
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you get a $30,000 job, they put $10,000 down. Okay, no big deal. We'll get there in 2 weeks. He calls back 5 days later. He goes, "Did you order my project yet?" "No." "Cancel that thing."
Yep.
"I want my money back. I ain't doing it."
And then what are you gonna do?
And then you have one guy that's dragging you out for 60 days. You have to haul him off to court almost. So he's paying. All of a sudden, he got this big debt over the head, right? And so it gives you a false number of cash flow to put the down payments into the operating.
I see.
People should never do that.
And then, do you have two separate accounts, like an operating account where because obviously as you run your crew, you know how much it costs to operate your crew, correct? Right. And then you have another account that is, with time would get, like for you personally, I would assume jobs come in, there's enough money in that account where down payment's going to, that if a job cancels, we pull it out of here.
Yeah.
Or is that never?
So we have a lot of money circulating. Yeah, we have a lot of circulating. It seems like there's always money coming in. There's always money coming in, and always money going out. And so the bigger you get, the more cash flow that you have.
Right.
So the little bumps, like somebody doesn't pay, doesn't show up right away.
But in the beginning, I guess what I was asking is, are you speaking for when you start the business or as the business grows? When you speak about putting it into the down payment into a separate account, other than the operating account? Both. Okay.
Because if you're not disciplined when you have a small company, you will never grow.
I see. Okay. So what do you mean you'll never grow?
Because you think you have a lot of money, you're gonna go spend it, buy a boat.
Yeah, true.
Because you're emotional about the money that you have. Because people, when they start up, they're not used to having a lot of money, and all of a sudden they got $2,000 in their pocket. They're sure it's profit.
It might not.
And then it might not be. And then you have a couple of jobs going. Next thing you know, they got $10,000. They're not used to having any money. Well, then they think about their bill is due, but it won't be due for another 20 days. Well, they're thinking about all the jobs they will get done before that. So they go and spend the material money, and then they'll go buy a boat.
I see.
And then one of the worst things people can do when they start out too is get excited about how the vehicle looks. Like, look at the rich people, the successful companies. They don't have jacked up trucks. They don't have wide tires.
No.
They got the F-150 bare.
Yes.
Like you roll up the window, right? Why do you need to have the electric windows for?
You don't need them.
You don't need them, but anyway, I think that's a convenience I'd like to have for my people. Anyway.
Yeah.
At least that.
But on the install, I always question when people have a decked out vehicle on an installing crew, because it doesn't make sense, in my opinion. Because you go out, you get muddy, you get dirty all day. This truck's not going to stay nice. Why not start? I paid $30,000 less for a brand new truck. It goes the same amount of miles. One, it just doesn't have vibrating seats or massage seats, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even pay more than $9,000 for that Mercedes I bought.
True. Yeah, that's how you started out.
I mean, that thing had 180,000 miles on it when I bought it. People say, "Oh, don't buy that vehicle." Well, I got. What do I have on there right now? We have over 300,000 on it. I think 3.25 on it right now.
Almost 300,000 when I drove it a year ago.
Yeah, I think it's over 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
She runs good.
Is she still going?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You take care of it. So you take care of the engine, just like everything else. You take care of the company. So many things feed together, and the people's vehicles, they will last more than 100,000. They will last more than 200,000. Yeah. The thing is, when you start buying into that thing of you better get rid of your vehicle, it's going to devalue it. It's just a sales talk.
Oh.
People are buying into it. Take care of the vehicle; it'll last longer than that. People want to be in style.
But style doesn't buy you stuff.
Huh? You don't want to drive around with an old vehicle.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
That's all.
We all have our things we spend money on.
Yeah, see, that's what I was gonna say.
We all do, right?
Because like I will drive around on an old vehicle, but I will not ride a busted down bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, there you go.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm happy to drive. I have a 2008 Dodge Ram, crappy vehicle. It's paid in cash. I don't care as long as it gets me from A to B. If I had a motorcycle, it can't be ugly.
Gotta be decked out.
Yes. Yeah. So that it's just different.
It is different. It is what's important. But when you start up in business, you have to go as bare as you can. Bare. Then you have to have great service. But then one of the things that takes out a lot of people early on is warranties, guarantees.
Ooh, yeah.
Because to start up in a company, you got to be competitive in pricing because you're new.
Right.
And people know you're new. They're like, well, how long have you been in business? You're my first job.
Yep. I know.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Like, how long have you been in business? Well, I can say I've been doing roofs for 20 years. I've been over 20 years been doing roofs. So here's a little bit of help right there as the longer you work. But so when people are too low in their pricing, so they have to be low enough to get a job.
Right.
All right. We all know that, right? So that's attractive. People are attracted to price. So many people are. But then after the job is done and they have to go back and fix something, they have to work like crazy to make sure that they get enough of work done so they have some money at the end of the day.
You put 5-year warranties on your stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
A small business couldn't do that probably. Well, they could, but
they don't. So you start out with the 1 year, do the state minimum. You just do the 1 year workmanship guarantee, and then you don't answer the phone, or you say, "Look, man, it's 1 year old. Go find someone else."
Yes.
And so that doesn't build a business either. So you need to be willing to go back and fix the stuff. And so when they have low price margins on the job, they don't have much money. They can't afford to go back and fix it because it costs them money. So,
right. Okay. Yeah. Because if you can afford to go out and fix it because you know that's going to happen.
No, I can't afford it either. No.
What I'm saying is like, you go out and fix it because of customer service part. That's going to get you 5 more jobs.
Yeah.
10 more.
That's why we have a written 5-year guarantee on the job. So if anything comes up, they're covered. Anything in the service side is covered. So you don't have to worry about anything. So sometimes they're like looks. Now the siding has been changed or whatever. They're afraid so it doesn't look right because of how the roof meets the siding. There's always something.
Right. Yeah. Do you guys do a lot of siding as well?
We are starting to do more.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
Good. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So payroll, the financing part of it. Are there any other aspects of financing that you didn't cover just like shortly here? So
the other company that we then got later after we were in business after about 2 years, Green Sky, they don't take anybody under $1 million.
Okay.
And so you gotta have $1 million in sales before they will offer you.
I see.
Their financing program. They got some good programs. And then there's this vendors kickback.
Okay.
So once you get a couple $100,000 in a year, the vendors will pay you back.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they want your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be smart with the programs like that.
Yeah. And so I get my kickback, and I have an account now I've set up. It's called my customer rewards account. So every job we do, we send them out a little candy or a coffee mug or a bread tray with cookies on it.
Right.
So we say we give a thank you to everyone, and so the kickback I give back.
I see, and then that helps build rapport with the customer, right?
Yeah. I mean, the job's done, and they got their chocolates. They're like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Okay. Absolutely.
So the more the bigger the company is, the more you can delegate that stuff with someone else, working in the company. So with a one-man show, I call it.
Okay.
Solopreneur, the owner running everything. He has a couple of guys working for him. He's overwhelmed.
Right.
He's taking the phone calls. He's doing the finances. So everything's done on paper. Usually they don't have much of a software usually to keep track of stuff because they don't have time.
Yeah.
They don't have time.
Truly don't.
No.
I mean.
So you can't expand. So me now, I can charge more because I offer more.
Right. So what made you? Sorry, when you said expand, like what made you expand as much? What made you push for expansion the way you did?
Yeah, so I remember one night I was out late. I was I was out in the dark. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like so frustrated. Like I'm loading from one trailer to the next for the crew the next day, and we're just so busy. You know, thinking of the ball games I wasn't able to go to with my boys now. I was so busy. I missed dinner again. It was just like, you know, I need to delegate. Well, this is ridiculous. Why am I doing all of this? Like I need to hire. And while I couldn't hire people to install roofs, I didn't know who to hire or how to hire for anybody to teach them how to sell, because I didn't know how I sold.
Oh, so wait, you learned completely off of just going out and selling jobs?
Yeah, I had nobody to teach me.
How did you get your first jobs?
I don't even know. Oh, so it was referral.
A referral.
So I had like 3 referrals and 2 friends that believed in me. One in particular said, I believe in you, you'll do it. I said, are you serious? He goes, no. I got 3 jobs. People come in all the time asking for someone to put their roof on at a metal roofing company, sales. He said, I'll give you the jobs.
But you have to sell
them. So I had to have, yeah, of course I had to sell them yet.
Wow. And that's how you started out?
That's how I started out. So I just figured out my materials. I'd give them the price. I'd say, this is how much I need. And then I decided, you know, I'm going to pay this much per hour. Probably take 2 days. And at that time, I'd probably charge $500 a day after everything was done for myself.
Okay.
Or 700, you know, maybe I was up, and then it was not. Then it was up to 1,000, and then it went from there.
Right.
But that's how I did it, and then even using that model years later, so much a day, always kept me way lower than the other guys.
I see. Instead of the per square rate.
Yeah. Percentage rate and all that.
So okay, but I'm very curious. You sold a job without like you had to sell this job.
Yeah.
How did you, what made them buy from you? Like how did you present it?
So, I mean, I looked at the job. I was very inexperienced. I would go and knock on the door and say, hey, how are you? Do a formal greeting, whatever. And then they say, well, here's what I'm doing. And I need a price. And I just say, well, okay, what else? And then I'd carry along my shingle boards. At that time I was doing shingles. And I said, do you have a color you have in mind? And they said that. And then I'd say, sometimes I would say, do you have another price or anything you have in mind for the roof? And sometimes they would tell me, sometimes they wouldn't. But then I'd give them a price for the job, and they'd go, that's kind of low.
Okay.
And I'd say, well, I mean, what are you paying? Well, I don't want to say. Sometimes they would say. But then later, after the job was done, after I did every job, I would say, so did you have any other estimates? And they would say, yeah. Well, what was it, if you don't mind? So then they'd tell me. Oh. Then I know where the spread was.
I see.
So I figured out how much it was per square, so I would bump my rate up. And I do the same thing today.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. Like, I'm always ahead of everybody right now. Like, everybody's behind me. Not everybody. There's some guys out charging more than we do. We're not the most expensive, but we're not, by far not the beginner's wages, for sure not.
Right, because like I know people that sell way less than you do.
Yeah. You gotta take them to work though.
Yeah, they do.
But you gotta take them back home.
I'm amazed at the fact that you sold roofs, just having started your own business, and you made it go off of it. I'm very surprised. Inspiring to me.
Yeah. So, you know, for instance, I'd get to the door and people would go, hello? I go, I'm Henry. They go, you're so young. And first I would couple down to go, yeah. And then I'm like, dude, let's have a little fun. Yeah. And then I go, yeah, you're right. I'm young. And then that just set the tone. Okay. And people like me. People say, oh, I like you. And then I remember one person that was working on a roof, and I thought it was 2 layers, and it was 4 layers. I mean, there were some 2 layers, but the most of it was double. And it was hard. I had a couple guys working for me. We worked hard, slaved away. I told the woman, the homeowner there, I said, you know, it's 4 layers up here. I'm not charging you for this, but we'll make it good. You'll like it, because it's a lot of weight, man. A lot of weight up in your roof here. She goes, and then here's what she said. She goes, if you're an honest roofer, if you're honest and do good work, I tell you, Henry, you will go far in this life. Because it's hard to find a roofer or people that want to be honest today. Whatever that meant, I wasn't sure exactly what she meant, but I took that as affirmation that I'm doing the right thing. I mean, I could have probably charged more, but anyway.
Definitely. I mean,
you know, we just went on our way.
That's crazy. So I get like sales. You know, do you use a different approach to it now than what you did when you started out?
Oh, way different.
Yeah.
So you asked me how I started.
Right.
I didn't know who to hire. I didn't know how to hire. I didn't know what I did or didn't do. I didn't know what I did well.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I didn't know what I was doing in sales.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked me, right?
Yeah.
You said, I don't know. I just went and sold.
You just went.
I just went and sold. Hey, you want to buy this? Well, why not?
I see.
I don't know. I just sold, and I've always been selling.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to do. Well, finance, I figured that out. 1 + 1 is 2. I figured anybody can do that, and so I just kept track on paper. I had a checkbook with a little booklet up on top, and I just kept track of it until debit cards came out.
Okay.
And then that made it a little bit more challenging. Shortly after that, online banking came out.
Mm-hmm.
But that was about the time when I shifted and I hired people.
I see.
So, yeah. So, how was it?
Okay.
I was just gonna say when I before I hired, I started going to seminars. I started reading books. I started educating myself, asking other people. I started going to roofing conferences, and then bingo, I started making my hires.
Oh, how do you make a hire now? You know, like what is the tip for anybody wanting to make a hire? You know, let's say I'm wanting to hire somebody.
Right. Well, so there's a lot of online hiring platforms you can use.
Okay.
All right. You need to screen people. So one thing is, there's it's quite a few that plays into it. I don't know if I can have a lot of time to talk about it today, but for hiring people, one thing is, do you know where you want them to work? For you, like if you hired somebody, do you know what job you're going to give them?
I see what you're saying.
Do you have it written down? So you need to have a standard operating procedure. It's called SOP.
Okay.
Job description. So then you short form that, you put that online. And then you want a project manager and giving him a brief description, but when you interview him, you hold that up against what you're looking for.
I see.
So on the resume, you can see what they've been doing. So if they've been switching around for the last 5 years or didn't have a job longer than 1 year,
you don't want.
How do you know he's gonna last for you?
Right.
So there's little tips that you look for. And like, for instance, I was just putting an ad out recently to hire for a call taker, customer service, and I see forklift operators applying. I see accountants applying. I'm like, this is a customer service position. Why do you want an accountant? Why do you want to come over? But what is happening is they do research on my company and they're like, I would like to be with you.
I see.
So I've come to that point where people are actually pulling for me. I get a team of people pulling for me now, where I used to just pull everything myself.
Right.
It makes it so much easier. So for hiring, again, almost like marketing, you are marketing in a whole different way, but you're looking for people. And now I have a careers page on my website.
You do?
Yeah.
I need to check out.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah, you did.
That's pretty cool. Absolutely. And then, like good coaches to go to for business coaching. You said you went to seminars, read books, stuff like that. Obviously, you coach. You know, like, locally, you're probably the best. You know, what are we going off of here?
So I had quite good coaches, and I have 2 separate ones at this time, just because of the business growth that we're going through right now. And as I've heard in the past, people say you should spend as much on self-improvement as you do on your mortgage.
Okay.
So I don't know how much you pay for a mortgage or for rent, but if you pay that much per month for a coach, you would probably be thinking different.
I would.
So the coaches I've had in my past, John Maxwell was one of my first ones. Actually, before that, it was I joined a roofing organization called Roofers Success International.
Roofers Success International.
And they're still going today, but they have a new name called Certain Path.
Certain Path.
So they have a roofer there doing $50 million. So I think we got plenty of room to grow in that organization even for myself. But when I started listening to them talking on the stage, like twice a year they have a seminar. You go in and listen for 3 days. It used to be 4 days. It got down to 3 days mostly now, seminar. And then I started a book subscription, reading books. And I just started thinking in my mind, just started thinking big. And I was always accused of thinking big. Like nobody around me wanted to look at me or talk to me. They said, "They're crazy." He's just thinking big. And where I grew up in the culture I was, they didn't have a lot of respect for me in that area. Because I had then one area, then I had 2 areas, then I had 3 areas of roofing. And so I just grew it by, it was kind of surprise, but anybody can do it. I think one of the biggest things is you need to step out in faith.
True. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. That's definitely my biggest problems would have been hiring people, because I've seen you talking about knowing how to hire people, and then the taxes, payroll, and then you tell me that it costs like $40 a week, and I was like, okay, that's somebody else take care of that. And are you one of the people that believes in having a strong why you have the business? I see people on Facebook talking about you need to have a strong why do you do this. Is that a myth? Is that?
Well, I mean, if you know your why, that'll get you up in the morning.
Okay.
Some people are doing things they don't know why.
Okay. Right.
So first, when I started into my roofing career, my why was I wanted money.
Okay.
Because I grew up with a family. I'm the oldest of 13. I wasn't 13 when I was at home yet. But my parents never had a lot of money. We had a farm, and so if I wanted anything, I pretty much had to figure out how to get it myself in my teenage years. Otherwise, they would say I can't afford it. So I had this drive. I wanted money because I wanted things. I didn't want this life of average, mediocre, good enough. Why do you need a big house? Why do you need a big car? And we didn't have cars back then, but all I could hear was, even Dad said if I wanted to go, let's say, out on the ocean for a day with my friends, that got invited out to spend a day on the ocean. He said, no, you need to stay home. Just think about what happened. Just think, like how much work you could get done. Like, suppose something stupid happens, just stay home and work.
But
so I got my work ethic.
From
that way, just working. But I had to change my mindset.
So, do you think working is that healthy?
I sure wouldn't want to live without it.
But I'm saying, I'm easily obsessed with working. To where it consumes most of my life. Is that healthy?
So, I guess it depends what's important in your life. I mean, are you able to, one, meet all of your priorities you have in life? You need to prioritize. Like, if you're a family man, then you need to see your wife and children, right? If you have children in school, then you need to go to some of their stuff they're doing, volleyball, football, whatever they're doing, right? Sports. So our life isn't just about work. So work is has a healthy effect on the people. But if it's controlling us instead of us controlling the work, then you're more of a slave, just like it was when you're working for someone else.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
Just a slave again.
That was just a personal question for myself that I wanted to know, because something that I've been looking, like if I look at my life, it feels like that's the only thing that I know how to do well at times. So I need to get better in other areas, learn how to be a better husband, better father. And does the coaching, does that help with all that stuff?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that people need a lot is bring clarity to their life, their why. So the coach can ask you those questions that you don't know how to answer yourself. But when you and I start talking, we have a conversation that we don't even think about.
Right.
I ask you a question, like pretty soon you'll be answering something that you didn't think about. So there's things I know that I can ask you, that think I know about you, but if I ask them in a way that makes you think, and then you come up with the answer, like, I've never seen it like that.
Yeah.
But if I told you this about you, then you might be offensive, because anything I say is just gossip.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. I like it.
So when you coach somebody, the thing is to take them where they are right now towards their goal, right? I mean, counseling is where the people are now, you take them back in their life to fix things.
Okay.
So that's the difference. So coaching always goes toward for the goal.
Do you, like, as you brought up counseling, is that an important step in the journey or not really?
So everybody has different lifestyles and things going on in their life. So some people have drama they just need to have taken care of. I do think a lot of people have things in their past that want to come up again and again.
Yes.
And then maybe they do need to seek counseling,
Okay, and a counsel would help with that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, this has been very interesting. Do you have anything else?
Well, I was just thinking, some people they are asking me what is best for the products for roofing.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then if they only knew what's coming out in the marketplace, like there's metal,
okay,
and there's 12 colors of metal. There is standing seam, and you have the metal shingles, you have the metal shakes. You have so much on the market today that people have no idea. And they start Googling, they're like, prices near me for this and that.
Right.
And it's confusing, it's overwhelming. Our goal is to bring clarity to that, to the homeowner.
Okay.
Help them choose the right package and transform their home into an oasis. Like, make it beautiful.
Absolutely.
And, the metal you have, like I said, the 40-year you got, then you have an upgrade, the coated metal, what's it called? The textured metal.
Textured metal.
So that's nice. People love the texture.
Oh yeah, and it's nice to work on too.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. And then you have the new rib, the legacy rib.
Yes. Yep.
So you get a rib style change. So a lot of roofers are going out, and here's what they do, and there's what I shouldn't say do wrong, but I could give a hint to someone maybe, or help someone. I don't mind. I mean, this is what I do. I coach people, to help sell and all that. So one of the things people do is they say, okay, this is the best piece of metal, this is the best screw, best wood, best this, best that. And I don't want my name on anything less than the best. So then they figure out their price, and it's market price.
Right.
And then, for instance, like a shingle over.
Right.
Versus turning everything off.
Yes.
Well, some people say, I'll never do that. That's ridiculous. It's crazy. Well, code allows you to have 2 layers on the roof. Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't sell that,
you're going to lose
that job.
Yes.
Because you don't want your name on it. So there's a lot of contractors trying to grow their company their way. They don't even listen to the homeowner what they want. They're not even selling.
They're just telling them.
They're just telling them. So they have a very niche market, very small sliver of the market because they just do it this way. And to find that person that wants it that way is very hard, very difficult.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable, flexible, if you be willing to price it this way, that way, and spend a lot of time.
Price it 15 different ways.
And we just got a job where the guy had his insurance company helping him or giving him money for the roof. And the roofer was going to do it. He's been working almost a year trying to get this job. And then the insurance company wants more money. And all of a sudden he just walks out. So he calls us and it says, oh yeah, we can help you. We have an absolutely good program. We'll get you money. He goes, I don't want to commit to anything until I know you can get me more money. So we looked at it and we said, it'll be at least 10, 12, maybe 15 grand more. And I think it's going to come out with a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
So going with us for insurance is a whole different way of what the people are doing insurance today.
Yeah, because I have now learned the way other people do insurance a lot of times, and it is the salesman talking to the insurance company.
And that's not even legal in Ohio.
Right, but nobody knows that.
And the insurance company won't even, they'll play the game to their benefit.
Right, and they always benefit.
Right, and so insurance is so much like, I was going to say car insurance, but it's not.
It's almost like a lawsuit. It's like 2 lawyers speaking to each other about a case.
So an insurance for a roof is not easy. When you got to talk with the insurance company, they always find ways to talk themselves out of it. And the homeowner has no idea what the policy says. Most of them don't even read the policy.
Right.
They just say, sign here, whatever the guy said when he was out selling. And so what we do, we come in and read the policy for them. And then we have a public insurance adjuster on our team that will reach out to the insurance company negotiate with the insurance company, and then the insurance company needs to do a full evaluation of the roof. Like
Right.
they need to replace everything that's wrong.
Right, and if there's X amount according to each policy, sometimes they have to replace a roof.
Quite often.
Yes.
And then they have to replace the insulation.
Yep.
You got to replace the boards if the boards are bad. If the sheetrock is bad, you got to replace the sheetrock. And so, to all of the homeowners who think that they need to get 3 bids, you're wrong. Because if you get 3 bids, the insurance company is going to give you one choice to cover that one bid, and they're holding back the dumpster and all that.
Right.
And then the homeowner gets $5,000 for a $15,000 roof. He's like, well, yeah, I guess, like. Go figure.
Yeah, I'll pay for the rest, I guess. Yeah. Why did I pay insurance?
So why do you have insurance?
True. And if you use the program you guys use, sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes. A lot of times it's the other way. A lot of times it's the other way. The downside is people have to be patient because it's going to take 3 to 4 months. But what if I had to choose between paying out $5,000 or maybe getting money back? Give me 4 months. I don't care. Take 6 months.
We have people getting $20,000 to $30,000, even $50,000.
Wow.
We did one last year, a farm barn. $50,000 on their barn.
How?
Can you imagine? It was metal over top of cedar shakes.
No doubt.
It should have never been warranted. It should have not been warranted.
No.
I don't even know how the insurance company paid it.
Wow.
And they would have just replaced it.
That's crazy. Because a strong windstorm. And that thing should be gone. How did it stay on for that long?
I don't know.
Like, just thinking about from roofing terms, realize that roof was held on with the little nails that go through the cedar shake.
Yeah.
And you have sheets of metal.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
Yeah, people have it on their houses too, and so if they go through us for insurance, we will do a full roof evaluation, read their policy, and call the insurance company, negotiate with them for the full value of the damage.
I see.
Everything. So they need to wait. It takes 2 months, 3 months. Sometimes they send a shingle out to Texas. They have already for testing.
Yes.
Because sometimes the insurance company wants to say, oh, it's a manufacturer defect. So we got to send them to the manufacturer so they can test it.
Right.
To prove it's not a defect or whatever. Siding, same way. And you'd be surprised there is so much money for the homeowner if they can just wait.
Yes. And as far as the roof, you guys can easily, put something up to cover whatever damage they have so that it doesn't leak during that process.
Oh, by the way, so when they go with us, if it's a small repair, we do complimentary repairs, but also insurance will pay to tarp the roof.
They will?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so they'll pay us to tarp the roof.
Okay.
So we go out and have them commit to us to help them for the insurance. And then we do a roof tarping right there. So we have to stop the leak. So we have to take before pictures and after pictures.
Okay. Yeah. And it's not like insurance companies, they can pay out and they will. You just have to go through the proper way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not the homeowner dealing with the insurance company.
It's not.
That's why they have public insurance adjusters. Why would they have a public insurance adjuster? Have you ever thought of it? Independent public insurance adjusters. Why is even there a need for somebody like that?
Because obviously insurance company is not taking care of the homeowners.
Just think if your car was like that. You had to have an independent insurance adjuster to come to your house.
Right.
Because your garage was going to fix the tire because it was broken.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
You can't do that. For some reason, for cars, it's better. It's the way it should be when they fix it.
Because that's the way it should be on roofs as well.
No, but it's not.
Right.
They send out unexperienced
people
to assess the roof. They are not roofers.
I had a shingle or a heavy wind in spring here. Had a guy call me to come out and do, he was very sure insurance is going to take care of it. I gave him an estimate. They send out a guy with a drone. Never went up on the roof. He's like, these shingles are only 12 years old. They were not. I don't have a public adjuster. I'm not going to fight with it. So, and I knew I can't go fight the adjuster because I knew that's illegal. So the homeowner handled it.
Right. So the homeowner has a lot of power. In the end, homeowner has a lot of power. The best thing they could do is hire us to help them as number 2. But they could hire their own public insurance adjuster. The problem is they're fighting it alone, and unless they know roofing, they don't know where to. They don't know the ins and outs of roofing and all that. Like you can even upgrade your shingle roof to a metal roof, and they'll pay for the shingle part, and they might have to pay the difference a little bit. But there's such a big opportunity for someone in the industry to go into that market, but it's hard to get into, and all of the insurance adjusters, they push back on a company like me because they don't want to pay up.
No.
And there's companies out there that they sign up that as a referral from insurance companies. They're not really supposed to, but they do it all the time, for the price of the price of the claim.
Okay.
And I go, so you guys make money? No, not really, but we're hoping on the next one we will. So he wants to be in business for the next one.
No, I don't.
Let it go. Stop that stuff.
You're not in. I seen a quote on Facebook that says, first, the customer needs to be happy, and secondly, the business needs to make money, because if the customer isn't happy, if the business doesn't make money, the customer isn't happy.
That's right. And then you hire people, and then you want to hire A players, 10X players.
Right.
We're working on our 10X team thing now, and that is amazing, finding the people that are overachievers.
Right.
It may not be the easiest thing, but they're out there. They're looking for a company like what we do, but not saying I'm the only one. You might be doing the same thing. But overachievers, like, they want a place where they can work and give me work and give me like a performance pay. So the more I work, the more I get paid.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a huge shift for us. And next thing you know, the company's growing and need to hire more people, which is a good problem.
Absolutely. That's the best problem to have.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I am thawed out at this point. Very, very inspiring conversation. It's amazing the stuff I've learned today. You guys really, really need to check out Henry on his social media pages. Follow him, call him, I don't care. Get a roof from him. Well,
that's right, call me. Don't wait.
Do it now.
You got my number below or somewhere. Maybe it's on my hat.
I think it's below, right, Daniel? Yep. All right, well, thank you, Henry. Thanks for coming in. I think we'll end it at this point. All right, guys. Good seeing you. We'll see you in the next one. All right.